Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition, and we are specifically going to talk about the new Dungeons & Dragons 2024 new core rulebooks, and will the fury that they are being created create a new Mega Predator competitor like Paizo, all right? So let me frame this real quick. So 4th edition came out, and 4th edition came out, and it replaced 3.5, and, so 4th edition comes in. First of all, it was fundamentally flawed because the designers were like, oh my gosh, look at World of Warcraft. Those guys are making millions because they made a fantasy-based tabletop role-playing game, and, they made a fantasy-based video game, and it's just eating the world, and they were not wrong. People were definitely stopping playing Dungeons & Dragons to level up 80th level, World of Warcraft characters. I don't think people really understand what happened with World of Warcraft. Like, it's like coming on like 20 years now. But like, I saw marriages end over that game. Like, not like a number that could be counted on one hand, but like not a, I wouldn't have many fingers left. It was a big freaking deal, right? So 4E comes out, and there's players sitting on 20, 30, 3.5 books, and they're all worthless now, right? Because like the hotness, the new Dungeons and Dragons, game is, 4th edition is out, and all your 3.5 is junk, right? Oh, and by the way, Sly Flourish, just gave a big long speech. Is like, it's totally okay when Dungeons & Dragons does something new, and you shouldn't get upset because you still have your books and you can run the same old game. It doesn't stop you at all. 100% wrong. I'm gonna get this here right now. I'm just gonna get into it. All right. So when Dungeons & Dragons makes a change, and you're like, I can run the old version, you can't. Right? Here's why. Right? We all tell ourselves it's a lie that Sly Flourish is putting out on his channel. Sly Flourish is a genius. He's just wrong on this one thing. He's not an idiot or anything, but he's so wrong, right? So basically, and 4th edition showed this, right? So here's the issue: you're sitting over here playing your old game, right? Your old version of Dungeons and Dragons, right? But the new version has, that's being played by Critical Role. That's being played by celebrities. That's being talked about by the news, right? And yeah, I think you're right. You got 4 players around the table playing your crusty old version of Dungeons and Dragons, and you're listening to Sly Flourish, and you're like, we can play this, and it doesn't matter that there's a new version out, right? But one of your players, the smartest one, is going to look over to the left and go, look at all those people playing the new version. Oh, and they have a brand new game hitting the FLGS, right? Oh, look at those 5th edition players. Look at those current edition players. Just going over there and paging through that brand new book with all that brand new art. Oh, wow. Boy, I wish I could be like that. I wish new books mattered to me, right? Brand new art, brand new discussions, brand new characters, brand new themes. Oh, no. I can't. That's not for me. I'm at my FLGS. I want to help this guy, right? Or this lady who owns this shop. I want to help the hobby. I can't put my money back in my pocket because I play a sucky, old, crusty, horrible version of the game that takes me out of the loop, silences me on Dungeons & Dragons because I don't play the current version, right? And makes me irrelevant. That's why you can't play the old versions. They don't matter, right? The now version matters. Be on it, right? Don't make your players, the person in the FLGS, longingly looking at players who play the current edition going, new books aren't for me. I just play a suck old version that has nothing, right? It's such a stupid thing. Like, Sly Flourish is not stupid, but he is saying some stupid things, right? And there's lots of people who believe this. They're like, I can play my crusty old version with my friends and we'll be fine. You won't be, right? If you have anybody in your crew who is active in the community, right? They don't want to be irrelevant, and your crew's going to lose players. Tick, 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 right? Oh, and you're like, well, I don't lose players, Scott. Well, you might want to think about your friends, right? If your friends are fine never being relevant and never having their voice heard, could there be a problem there? I think there might be. Okay, that's my take. All right. So, is so fourth edition comes out and people are just furious, right? Now this fury that we've already seen before, there was a fury that burned so hot it created Paizo, and it made Paizo millions of dollars, right? In 2020, Paizo made $25 million, right? And they probably made 20 the year before that, and maybe 15 the year before that, and maybe 10 the year before that, right? You know, and they've probably made $100 million since Paizo launched Pathfinder, right? That's quite likely. You know, at least 75, maybe 50, maybe as low as 50. But they've done some real numbers, right? And you can bet Pathfinder did not just, nobody was like, let's make a good game, right? They were like, look, there is a burning bonfire of fury and rage within the Dungeons & Dragons community. Let's turn it into money. Like, and that fury is coming back with the 2024 new core rulebooks. It's already starting. So Sly Flourish, by the way, has a fantastic video on the new core rule, on the 2024 new core rulebooks. All right, now the 2024 new core rulebooks, right? What are they? We know 4 things about them. They're coming out in 2024. They're going to be 100% compatible with all 5e material, right? They're a new evolution on how to play Dungeons & Dragons. That was probably not true. If it's compatible with all the 5e stuff, it's probably going to be an increment and not an evolution, right? I'm convinced that like one of these things is not true, or one or more of these things are not true, and then it's a new version. That is true, right? It is not a new edition, right? So, will the fury over these books making the old core rulebooks, the old 5e core rulebooks, right? Will the 2024 new core rulebooks make people so furious that their core rule books are worthless, right? Or close to worthless. Will it make them so angry that people will have a desire for a new product so strong that it could create a new Paizo, right? The answer is no. Here's why. 1, 4th edition was a major departure from the game, right? And like 3.5 did not make people angry, right? It actually, 3.5 did make people angry, but not nearly at the level of 4.0, right? Paizo was born out of an edition change. It wasn't born out of a 0.5 change, right? And so I think from that perspective, the other thing is, so 5th edition is a much better game than 4th edition. Much better, okay? So 1, this is just going to be, and the other thing is 4th edition made all 3.5 books worthless. This change is only going to make the core rule books worthless, in my humble opinion, right? So that's a pretty significant difference, right? So basically, I really think after all is said and done, there is going to be furious. There's going to be a lot of anger, right? The other thing is, where can you go, right? And there are more games than ever, and there are more companies than ever, right? By the way, if there could be a possibility of being a new Paizo, who would it be? Well, the one group that would have the ability to do it that looks like Paizo did when 4th edition came is Frog God Games. They just made the Temple of Elemental Evil 5e transition, right? So they're one of those, and that's exactly what Paizo was. They were making Dragon Magazine. They saw a mistake from Dungeons and Dragons, and they're like, we'll fix this mistake and give people what they want, right? So Frog God Games has a possibility of that, but it's a low probability, and I think the new 2024 core rulebooks will not make enough fury to allow a new Paizo to arise. That's my opinion. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.